good morning. It's another one of our first fives. So this week we're talking about guidance, or in other words, we're talking about what does it look like to be led in certain directions. Now, for some of us, it's hard enough to let someone lead us, or even let God lead us, because we want so much control of our own lives. But sometimes I've found that the Holy Spirit checks us, and we have to go back and make reparations for something we've done in the past. I was thinking about how I want to articulate this because I love this verse from Romans chapter 8, verse 14, that says this: because those who are led by the Spirit of God are children of God. And so in other words, if we are followers of Jesus, if we've committed our life to following after him, then God says we are children of his. And as his child, his Spirit often is present with us. And so what we begin to find is we're led by his Spirit. But sometimes, in the moment, we don't listen to the Spirit. We listen to our own voice, our own reaction. And so some of you who know me know I'm pretty competitive. And sometimes it's great, and sometimes it's not so great. Like I remember as a youth pastor, I had only been in town a year or two, and I got invited to play basketball with some of the local school administrators and teachers. We were playing it on a Friday morning before school. And there was one of the guys there who was a pretty good athlete, but he wasn't a great basketball player. So he just fouled people the whole time. And he kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And finally, I couldn't take it anymore. And I was dribbling the ball, and I just put a forearm in his chest and pushed him to the ground. Now, we kept on playing, no big deal. No one thought much about it, but I did. I didn't like my attitude because I did it because I was ticked. Not just because he was fouling me and I was trying to get him off. I did it because I was angry. And the truth is, I knew that wasn't the best response in the moment. So the next Friday morning comes along, and I show up to play again. And I go up to him and I go, hey, I just want to apologize for last week, man. I lost my cool. There's no place for it. He was really cool about it. He's like, hey, I didn't think anything about it. Like, I had it coming. But the point wasn't whether he deserved it or not. The point was my attitude. And the Holy Spirit's what checked me in that moment and said, hey, what are you doing, man? Like, is that really the witness you want? That when it's competitive, you lose your anger and you lose your cool and you push someone just because you can? And so I apologized that day. He didn't care, but I knew it was the right thing to do. See, it was the Holy Spirit who had convicted me, who had checked me, who had challenged me. I could probably tell you a dozen more stories about the way that someone has come along and either they have been the Holy Spirit's voice for me, or they have challenged a position I've taken or something I've said. But here's the challenge for you and I. Are we going to allow God's Spirit to guide us? And not only will we allow God's Spirit to guide us, will we let other people speak into our life in such a way that they get to guide us? See, will we find people who are further along in our spiritual journey than we are, who get to be spiritual advisors, mentors, directors of our lives to help us to become all that God has for us? And then, the hard part is this. When we take the words of Paul, it says, because those who are led by the Spirit of God are children of God. We'll be led by the Spirit so that we are truly children of God. But it requires us listening for his voice, leaning in, drawing as close to God as we can, so when his Spirit speaks, we know it's him. So may you this day find that you are led by God's Spirit. May you find joy in that. May your faith and your hope and your love be expanded. And may you have a great day. And we'll see you tomorrow.